Hi, friends. It's Courtney here. Let me know if you can see me. Let's see here. It is the after show. It took me a second. I had a quick conversation with my buddy Roderick, and it took me a second. I had to jump off of Forbidden Knowledge's platform and then jump on to mine. So that takes a moment. It wants you to, validate whom you are, get the codes, all the things. So, and then I had a moment of technical difficulties, which is not always a surprise, by the way. But we are here. If you can see me, do me a favor and Lady in Mauve, thank you, my friend. I'm glad you can see me. I'm glad you are here. We had a really great show. I hope that were you with me, Lady in Mauve, over on the Forbidden Knowledge Network? I hope so. That was a really fun show with my buddy Roderick. He is such a cool guy, and I tell you, has the heart of gold. And he is somebody who immediately, Ethan and I, when we met him in, I can see and hear you. Okay, good. Thanks, Judith. Hi, Judith, my friend. He again has a heart of gold, and as soon as we, walked in and saw him in that space, we all kind of just came together, and that's what's cool is that when you meet like-minded people, you can tell that your energies gravitate towards each other, and so very much in the way that we all connect here on these beautiful platforms. It's taken a little bit for everything to load. It looks like some of the comments are coming in a little slow. But again, guys, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you subscribing to this channel. My goal is to completely keep doing this work. I see private clients. Judith, you've had a session, my friend, and I so appreciate that. And I love my private sessions, but I also want to keep doing, the bigger, the podcasts and even the groups around the country. I used to travel a lot doing groups here and there. Detroit's always a big place. I've got lots of clients there. Chicago, we've talked about going, and even possibly to Florida. And so I have had those conversations with Billy and Elizabeth where we are looking at doing some, call it tours, or larger groups around the country. And so I'm super excited for that possibility, and I hope that if we are close to you, or if you are interested in coming and being a part of it or attending one of those group sessions, that you'll come and that you'll support. It always, again, means the world to me. I had a client today. I shared his painting earlier. And what's really cool is I want to show two paintings. So, I paint for my clients in their sessions, in their private sessions, and the colors all have meaning. They're totally different for each person. And the shapes, very often you will see me paint the silhouette of the head. Sometimes that's their energy. Sometimes that is the energy of their loved one coming through. And after I jumped off that call, I thought, it's so interesting because these paintings there's some similarities between this, and you'll see them. But I want to show you that. Okay. And so here I showed you this one. But when I put it down earlier today, after I did that session, I noticed I was like, this one was done on the 21st, and this one was today. Which I believe is the 23rd. I think today's the 23rd. Nah, it's the 22nd. Anyway, so I want to talk about the different colors real quick. So this painting, that pink was a nurturing energy of like talking about self-care and caring for this person. This was a female who had this painting, and the information coming through for this client was all about not just showing up for her partner, which was this gold and then this gold right here, but also connecting to, my hands are always swapped in these podcasts, but connecting to that stream of light and remembering that just as she cares for the relationship and she shows love for those around her, and she shows such beautiful care in that relationship, she's really needing to make sure that she is connecting to her own ability to nurture herself, her own ability to care for and show up for this existence of hers. But in the way that she's showing up for the world around her, she has such a sweet, caring disposition. She was a nurse. But she's not used to shedding that same type of love to her highest self, to her own energy, as she is to the relationship. And so, not only showing that love for her so that she can be even better for her partner, but making sure that the reason she's showing up for herself is because she is worthy, and she, it's her, the message was essentially her getting into the nurturing energy of knowing her worth and connecting within that realm of spirit. And so that was a really cool session. However, this session today, and they dry so quickly. I love these guys. It's really funny to paint these sessions. I finger paint all of them. And again, the colors have different meanings, symbols. So two different people could get the same symbol and it mean completely two different things, which is, I love that. It's so cool and interesting. But this painting was all about him stepping into this life of his, understanding that he was on path with his spirit. So that yellow energy within him was telling him that even though he's still not where he wants to be, he is in direct alignment with where he's seeing his vision go. So this painting was really cool. He had questions about partnerships in business, questions about worth and even ego. And so it was so cool to feel that energy. And when I then painted this, and the guides were saying that he is intuitively connecting, trusting his gut. As soon as I painted that and I put my finger here and kind of came down, he said, when I feel like I'm getting intuition or I feel like I'm on par with where I need to be, he said, I just feel it kind of come over my head. And I said, what did you say? And as soon as he said it, I always paint on a board. I lifted his painting and said, interesting. It's coming over your head. So I will tell you that a good session with somebody already tells you what you already innately know, what is true for you. And so I hope that, in my work, I always try to make sure that you feel empowered, you feel connected, you feel as though it's fun and it's beautiful to get confirmation again outside of yourself. However, we all have what it takes to connect to that vibration of spirit, God, source, universe, energy. And so anyway, I just thought that those paintings were really cool tonight. Does anybody have any questions about tonight's podcast over on Forbidden Knowledge? First of all, what a great time with Roderick, my buddy. And great questions. I love that he segued in to, I love the question. We're getting questions. But I love that Roderick segued in without him even understanding or knowing that Ethan and I were going to do that podcast on Sunday as an impromptu podcast. I'm going to be on Monday. I leave. I'm teaching a retreat in Costa Rica. It's a beautiful women's retreat, transcending trauma. And so I'll be teaching and leaving. So next week I am not going to be live. It's not going to be a scheduled something. Now, if time permits, I might go early and go live on the Forbidden Knowledge Network, but with Wi-Fi and all of that, it might be a little sketchy. So we'll see. So that's why we're going to do it on Sunday. Grand Zeno, I'm going to throw your question up there. Grand Zeno says, can you physically massage out trauma? Or what are some effective techniques to release trauma? First of all, hello, I'm talking about that retreat. So that's amazing that question just came up. I'm going to take a breath, big exhale out. Let's call on the guides and angels and let's get into the questions. So everybody take a good deep breath in, big exhale out. Okay, so guides and angels on our right, guides and angels on our left, guides and angels in front, guides and angels in back to balance and harmonize our time here, leaving us in the light and allowing nothing but the highest, the truest, or the best to manifest upon us now. Amazing question. And I believe that you can massage out trauma. Do I think that will get it all? I don't believe so. However, who here, raise your hand, give me an emoji, if you during a massage have felt emotional or if you have felt, hey friend, there's my friend Roderick, thank you for being here. Who has felt that release? So I do believe that when you're working through the fascia in your body, you know, trauma, emotion can get stored in our energy. And so that energy does get worked out as you're being massaged, making sure you're breathing through that experience of the massage, I think for me is extremely important. So I do believe that yes, it can be worked out. However, we have to be in a safe space. I have to take a breath as I say it, to allow ourselves to fully embrace the emotion behind the release. Now, in this life, we have been taught that crying is what? Weak. We have been taught that sharing emotion doesn't always feel safe. And so what tends to happen is people, when they're working through or something comes up, even in my session, sometimes very often, almost every one of my client cries. And I always have to remind them, ooh, make sure you feel it all, because if we're here doing this, let's do it. Let's get it out. And when a client holds back on their emotion or tries to suck it back, they're actually sucking back that equal amount of energy coming through. So it's pretty crazy. It's pretty amazing I would say that I did not make that correlation 10 years ago. The energy on this, call it planet, in this collective consciousness of energy is rising to a level that information has to be known. So that breath that many of you see me do constantly on the podcast, I will stop mid-sentence to take that full breath in, full exhale out. That is connection to source to me. And so we have to, I hope that you honor that energy, whatever it is that's coming up. So even in your massages, make sure you're breathing and just feeling whatever it is that's coming through, even if it makes us feel vulnerable. There are some other techniques and that I have used, and one major technique is called trauma releasing exercises. The acronym is TRE. Dr. David Berselli is an amazing teacher person who I actually had the privilege to work with in Scottsdale at a neurofeedback company, and which is actually how Elizabeth with Forbidden Knowledge and I kind of were able to be linked together through another contact there at Brain State, which is crazy. But his technique, he has shared it. It's a global technique now. If you Google it, if you look him up, again, Dr. David Berselli, Berceli, I believe is how he spells his name. He is a dear friend. I just love him to death. And I'll reach out to him. I've said this for a million years to have him on the podcast or in my VIP group, and I will do that. Okay. And so if you guys are interested in that information, I will definitely bring him in. The point of the TRE is it releases energy from our body, that pent up. Sometimes we don't have to consciously know or be aware of what that stored trauma is, but his technique helps get it out of the that psoas, exhausting the psoas muscle helps get us in gear of releasing it. But you will tremor. It is the most, to me, one of the most incredible healing techniques that I have done. And it is something that I still continue to go back to. And it was, years ago. So this has been around for a long time. And again, he's traveled, helped many different vets with PTSD, all different types of trauma. And he actually trains this technique to people around the world now. And so Judith says, TRE is amazing. I have a session on Saturday. I love that. I'm like, where do you have a session, Judith? Now I'm excited. I'm interested. TRE it's awesome. And again, look Dr. David Berselli up. If you find him on anything, he's kind of, he's so cool. Such an introverted guy. But tell him Courtney Courtney Sides. I love it. I saw another one. So another question, let's see here. And Grand Zeno, thank you for that question. Yeah, anything we can do to help release that trauma will help us transcend not just this moment, but the past, the present, and the future. And it, to me, is part of the major reason we're here on earth, is to move through those experiences, see them yet again. I had a client last night, precious client, who does mentoring with me. She's done all my development classes, and she has like 2 sessions a month, and we process together. And she was having some trauma from, or some, what I would say that she thought, oh my gosh, I've healed all this. Why is this coming back up yet again? And I just kind of had to point it out to her. I'm like, listen, that breath we've talked about for, I think she's probably been a client for 4.5, maybe close to 5 years now. And that breath, you know, the tool to help you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the awareness that is mine. Thank you to the moment now, and to the awareness of that past pain, that hurt of that little one within you. And thank you to the highest self for showing it to you yet again. And thank you for the awareness that is yours. And asking that nothing but the highest, truest, or the best manifest upon you now. What happens is when we're not pushing the information away, we're fully allowing us to embrace. And that's how it feels, that yet again, here it is. But the reason it was coming up is because it demands the new awareness from her new healed space, from the tools and the eyes that she has today, and not just 2 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. And so when these past experiences that hurt like hell often come back up again, it's coming back up so you can have awareness and you can fully embrace the truth and the lessons, as hard as they were, and we all have them. So when we're able to do that, what I hope you're hearing is this, is the way I explained it earlier on the podcast. And for those of you who are here with me now and you did not go watch that podcast, go back to Forbidden Knowledge. Go watch that podcast we just had with Roderick. At the tail end, he asks me a question about the other side and how that is and whatever. And that awareness you're having here, that third-party perspective that you're having here, and you're healing that situation here, will help you later when you do pass on. When you're looking back on that life of yours that you've lived here, these lessons, and that list will not be long. You will have done your job here, and that is to come to be one with the light that we all are. Have that full awareness that even when it's hard, if we're breathing and we're witnessing it from that space of awareness and love, even when we might still not be happy about it, but we can understand that it's here showing us something. We are literally transcending time, space. This is not just psychic medium Courtney. We're connecting within the quantum field, and we are healing it all. It's pretty impactful. I hope that makes sense for you guys. Jeanette says, I turn 34 tomorrow. Happy birthday, Jeanette. We're celebrating with you. She said, I saw a shooting star. Okay, I saw a shooting. I thought that was not going to go in a good place. I saw a shooting star today and have had the most interesting dreams and downloads in this week alone. I wonder what type of reading would benefit me the most right now. Jeanette, to me, this is the funny thing, is that on my sessions, if you go to the website, it'll say spiritual guidance, it'll say mediumship, or it'll say past lives. Honestly, if you just book a session, essentially you're booking time, and all of those things can come through in the time given. And so now if you're wanting just an overall life review of connection to see what the guides and angels have to say for you, and then have some room for questions, I would suggest a 60-minute session or 90-minute, but that's completely up to you. But that's a really great question. Happy birthday. And really understand too that of course there's connection within that shooting star. Of course there's connection for the timing of it showing up for you. And you even just being open to witness that and knowing that there's a correlation of the energy, I think is beautiful. So again, happy birthday. Hi, everyone. Let's see. Somebody just says, I just had a massage today. I saw it and then it went up. Let's see. I love it. Um, I love that. Yes. Um, Ethan's here, my friend. I'm an intuitive medium, clairvoyant empath. I love that. Um, I love it. Antonia Ashford. Antonia, that name sounds really familiar in Michigan. So I love that. There are lots of TRE. Judith is referencing her TRE practitioner in Michigan. So those of you who are looking for somebody in Michigan, Antonia is great. Judith, we talked about Dr. Rose, my dear friend. She also does TRE and conducts that in her center. Don't go to her, go to your person. But she has that there. So it's pretty cool. I love it. Let's see. Roderick says, yeah, it was something that was on my mind sometime. Thanks for giving me a better understanding. I love that. Ethan's being funny. He says, there's only one room for one psychic in the house. It's right. That's not true. We're all psychic. We all have connections, my friend. We all do. Let's see here. Grand Zeno says, I've noticed trauma is like a gateway for most people to elevate themselves to higher levels. Are they in place in our lives for that specific reason? Yes. Can I put my hand on my head? It's getting hot in this room, by the way. My face is getting pink. I'm like a little strawberry sometimes, and this room is pretty toasty in certain moments. But yeah, Grand Zeno, I believe that. So I think that for me, I'll share, we all have trauma. And so we're not going to trauma bond here necessarily. But in my life, it was loss. I had a friend, I don't even know that I've even talked to you about it, Ethan, but I had a friend, it was the first funeral I had ever been to. And I was young, I was just coming back from church camp, and we drove past their house and yellow tape, and it was crazy, and news and police officers. And, got home, and it was a classmate of mine, and his sister had been tragically murdered. And that was my first experience with loss. And then my mom was sick at that time, and then she passed. I was 15 when she passed. I think he passed, I think I was 14. So it was like the year before that. And it was such a tragic thing. And it's a whole nother story I'm not going to get into, but my mother's illness and passing. And then after that, it was like a snowball effect of people that were really close to me, and family members and friends. And I grew up in a really large family, and it just went down to nothing essentially, but myself and my sisters and one grandmother essentially. And that was trauma. It was such massive trauma. I stopped feeling. I went into a place of, my sisters would call it, excuse my language, if I had the beat button like Roderick, my friend, I'd use it right now, but the F off queen is what they would call me, because I quit feeling. Rather than connect to my light and my awareness, my feelings, I would shut the world out around me. And the painting, the healing, started to open up that doors, or the door later. 26, 27, 26, I found meditation. And that's when it started. I'm 46 now. So it's been a lifetime of healing. But all of that trauma, losing my parents, losing all of those friends, and healing through it, while having them come to me in dreams, while questioning and owning my own gifts and abilities, and writing them down and collecting the data, because I knew that that's crazy. I wasn't raised to believe in any of that or any of this, but because I needed proof, I just wrote it down. I didn't really tell too many people. My sisters knew. But anyway, essentially back to your question, yeah, that trauma led me to the work that I do today. It led me through healing from being so depressed and uncomfortable, and cutting off emotions, and cutting off relationships, cutting off all of those things. Take a breath with me. And igniting that truth and that light within. And when I do it, I want to put my hands down, because it's an ongoing something. It is a something that I believe we're here on this earth to transcend forever. And just like I was talking about that client of mine, those things, those triggers will happen throughout our lives. And I do believe that we are here to heal through them and to see it through our own perspective at each level as we grow. I also believe this. I see lots of clients that come with, what's my purpose? What's my thing? I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do that. Well, all of those things are cool, but your purpose is to come back to your light. That's your purpose, is to heal and transcend and do that so that we can do it here. It's happening, guys. The world is waking up. So I see lots of clients that are having that third party perspective here rather than waiting until they're passed on the other side, like their ancestors or whatever. Many of them, not all of them. And so, yeah, it's pretty incredible. But yes, I do believe that's our purpose. Judith says, I'm really enjoying the Forbidden Knowledge family going on each other's podcasts. I love that. I think for me, what it does is it actually shows how like family we are. And I will tell you that each time it makes me smile. I can't say it and not smile, but each time we've had the availability to get together. I know Roderick and I were not able to be at Elizabeth's birthday, and Ethan, we couldn't go. We were, had our own family lives and things happening. And so, when we all can get together, it's so cool. It's really fun. And so even you guys, them having larger events and even us independently having our own and you all coming to venture out, I think is pretty cool. Because we all do also genuinely respect and appreciate everybody else's space in the community. And I think that's, to me, the cool part. Very cool. Yeah, let's see. I love it. You were speaking facts, Courtney. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Judith says, I was born on 9/9 and we vibed well. Loved my daddy to the moon and back. He's with me always now. Taking that deep breath in, knowing like you know that he's there. Guys, we are so never separate with our people. Ever. So lots of people, clients, I think that they come to me because they want those incredible signs and symbols, which are awesome. I love to give them and they're fun. I had a really cool one last night and I shared it on my Insta story and on TikTok. If you guys are on TikTok, go find me there too. And it was really cool. Her father came through in her session and he had passed when she was 3 years old. And she's a huge music lover, and he was referencing music as well and talking about, he said Aerosmith, and she was like, yeah, she said, I really used to listen to Aerosmith a lot. She said, I really don't listen to them anymore. But she said, I like them. And what I heard was album, check the album. And so she's a longtime client, so it's not rude for me to grab my phone. I was like, I want proof. I want to check this out real quick. So I pulled up my phone and I pulled up Aerosmith album. He said album, like check the album. So I pulled it up and just Googled Aerosmith album. And I kind of scrolled through and once I saw the red one with the wings, he stopped me. I pulled it up and I held it and I didn't say a word, didn't hold it to her. And I was like, okay, I've got it. This is the one. And he said, I heard him reference the year he passed. And I said, what was the year that he's referencing, the year that he passed? What was the year he passed? And she said 1973. And I'm looking at that painting. I'm like, you can't make this stuff up. This is crazy. And I turned the painting, or not the painting, but the phone around. And the album was a greatest hits album from 1973 to like 1988. His dad, his father or all her father was doing was just pointing to the information. All I have to do is just follow it and trust it. It always feels so random. But when you allow yourself, I'm preaching tonight, guys, sorry. When you allow myself, to just get in that stream of trust and connection. And also I've tried to debunk all of myself. I'm a skeptic. I have tried to prove that it was many other different things, but I trust in the way that I feel and I receive stuff. And what happens is really cool things like that you literally can't make up. Like, it's just so much fun. However, those are the fun sessions, sure. But my passion, my what I believe my work here on earth is, is to show you that, well, you can always come and have sessions. You don't need me either, though. You can actually access that connection. Sure, book a session, sure, do development, do all of that. But don't you dare do that thinking that you don't also get to connect with your own light and own information and connect to know to what the information is that you know to be true. That's the point. That is why we're all here on this earth together, is help each other see the mirror of connection. So guys, when we value somebody putting information out there, when we value and we think, oh my God, that career is so cool, or oh my gosh, I wish I could do that, or oh my God, that would be so cool to do that, or have a podcast, like Roderick, or share in that way, or do whatever. Let me tell you, that want and that drive is there because that calling is typically also within you, or that ability is within you, whether or not you are taking ownership yet, or if you're getting caught in the block of perfection, which, by the way, been there, done that. Sometimes we just have to start. Listen, I'm like going to sit here. Look, I've got microphones and all kinds of junk. I've got some of the lights. I've got all kinds of equipment. I can't find the darn cord. I've got another one. If I waited till things were perfect, I'd never do any of this. You know what I mean? So my question almost to you is, what are you waiting for to step into your own something? What are you waiting for that has to be just right before you trust that, okay, this is the thing, right? I believe that sometimes we just have to get out of our own way, take a breath, and show up. Take a breath and show up. Whatever it's supposed to be is the way it's supposed to be, in the technical difficulties and all. And what happens is we get to see the evolution and the growth. So even in the way Roderick was sharing tonight, saying that, his producer is coming in with her husband and they're going to come in and redo the room and all of that. I got a new table. We've changed our rooms too. That's fun. And if we waited till it was perfect, it would be so halting, almost the story that you guys get to see with us too, And so we are, and Roderick even mentioned it with us, we are investing in this beautiful podcast on Forbidden Knowledge with us here, all of it, and I am so thrilled. I've not really ever had to commit fully, with my work. It's service. It's service. Clients are paying for a service. Sure, I've had studios and offices and I've had the expense of that, but essentially I haven't never really had to invest money into the gift. And I'm really excited about taking ownership. Oh, and Ethan just said, take ownership and make it your reality. I mean, that's essentially what we all have to do constantly and always have to continue to evolve into, right? So while I've done that in so many different ways, I've done this work for 18 years in so many different ways, my gosh, it's not done. And I'm so excited and I so appreciate your support. But we all have to continue to take those leaps and those jumps and go all in on ourselves, on the dream. I love it. Roderick says, most people have the green light syndrome. They won't start the journey to the new destination unless all the lights are green as they go on the journey, which never happens. Amen, my friend. There was a comment my ex-husband used to say, and I've said this, Ethan and I've talked about this a lot in the last few days. And I share this. It's one of those lessons. So, we have different people in our life, whether we've divorced them or whatever, that bring little nuggets of truth that we will use forever, right? And he ran a financial institution, and that is how we met. I worked for the company, and I don't even want to say, I was in my early 20s. It was a collection agency. Oh, not fun. But he would say, you're only as good, or you're only good when you get your first complaint call. And in that business, that's true, right? And he used to say, then it's good enough for who it's for. Just take a breath in. When you get into that mind of perfection, take a breath in, let it go. It's good enough for who it's for. It's fine. And that's not to be rude to whomever it's for. It's just you just get out of your way. It's fine. It's not a big deal. And both of those sayings have really helped me. So, you saw Roderick. He was beautifully blocking people tonight from the comments. Listen, people have comments, people connect or they don't. People share things that aren't nice and they don't. But honestly, the way I see those things is that's all right. I'm only great until I'm only good when I start to get my first complaint call. That's still embedded in my head. So call them haters or whatever you want. It does not faze me. Now, listen, I don't read a lot of the comments after the podcast is done. I would love to, but I feel it. I want to say I feel the connection. Okay. If you want me to comment on stuff, please come to my social media pages and all of that. I have to put it out there, take a breath, connect, love, see the comments as we're here. And that's that. Anything else, it's like, fine, no big deal. But we have to kind of get out of our mindset of also being fearful of what other people will think, right? Very often that's our family. Very often that's our, Becky from first grade that we don't see anymore, but God forbid they see you doing something crazy on Facebook. I'm kidding, but not really. Those are the people typically we're afraid to, to have them see our truth, Very cool. Judith says, learning to breathe and step into me. I've lived for everyone else, and now it's my time for me, learning a lot about who I really am and where I want to be in life. What's really cool with that too, Judith, is knowing that we're already there. And I will say, we're going to touch on this on Sunday, that when we are also in alignment with showing up for ourselves, the energy that will match us will show up too. And I'm talking about relationships. And I feel like Ethan and I will go there on our story on Sunday too. And timing, not condemning relationships or experiences when things don't also work out, because maybe it's not working out because it's not supposed to work out now, but maybe it's working out so that there are things that fall apart in between, so that when you come together, the frequency of energy is amazing. And so there's a lot of truth to that, really valuing the energy, really valuing the space. Grand Zeno says, fear, false evidence appearing real. I like that. Guys, we've been on here for 37 minutes. I love you all. I am going to have to run. Listen, do me a favor. If you felt that this was powerful, if it spoke with you, I'm going to say the same thing. Please go share it with the world. I want to get this page up to 1,000. That's my goal right now. If you guys can help me do that, that would mean the world. Again, I have a little girl out there that's probably like, where's my mother? And so I'm going to go do the mom thing. Please, again, subscribe, like that button. It means the world to me. I so appreciate you guys. I see your comments. I see your shares. Matt, you're sharing this every week. It means the world to me. Listen, we're all family, and I appreciate you so much. So thank you so much for the support. Come on Sunday and come join us. You'll get to meet Mr. Brinkley, my person, and you'll fall in love with him. He's amazing. So I love you guys. Thank you so much, and I will see you. It's Sunday night on the Forbidden Knowledge Network. So not here. We might go live after, maybe for a few, but you will meet us over on Forbidden Knowledge Sunday evening. All right. I love you guys. I'll see you later.